Brainiacs, you man. What's up, everybody? Where we at? We're over here. Got a lot of new things, new screens, new things, all kinds of good stuff. Glad you guys could be with me here on our Friday night interview. It's gonna be absolutely amazing. I think it's gonna be a very interesting conversation. Move this up in the middle. So, got a hold of a NASA HQ insider, okay, that thinks that you should know what's going on. And after talking to him just a little bit off air, I think he's right. I definitely believe that he's right. You guys definitely needed to know a long time ago the way they work, their projects. Where the hell did your tax money go? Where did your mother's tax money go? Your mother's mother. So you see, there's like some hidden things here behind that little agency that ties into the World Economic Forum and we'll say families, royalty family, non-royalty family, just families in general, right? That you should know about. And our insider tonight, again, thinks that you should know about it. So he's going to connect some dots for you, connect some dots for me, and indeed it's going to be interesting. Without a doubt, crank this broadcast up, share this podcast, Brainiac. Welcome to the Matrix Minds. Let's do this. Let's have some fun tonight. Let's see if we can't get kicked off of Facebook. Come on. Let's go, bro.
You guys ready? It's time. It's showtime, brains. That's right. It's Matrix time. And it's go time. Welcome aboard, everybody. Let's go. Talk about ufology, conspiracy, controversy, and anything and everything that we can get into tonight.
And now Andy Cassidy is out of Facebook prison. Turn it up, man. Let's go. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. Get up, Brainiac. Yeah. It's definitely your show. Your show, and we appreciate you for being here. Buckle up, everybody. Welcome aboard.
Oh, yeah. Welcome aboard, Brainiacs. Let's have some fun. No doubt about it. Go ahead on over to the Brainiac chat. Say what's up. Ah, man. See everybody up in there. I had to throw Mr. Andy Cassidy under the bus and say, he's out of Facebook jail. His tag number is I don't know what, because, well, y'all know him. Just rile up some shit and, like, call everybody out for what it's worth. I think that's what we're going to run into tonight. I'm not quite sure as to what this fella's going to drop. I have no idea. All I do know is I'm going to unmute him and say, hello, Mr. Anonymous, Mr. HQ, our NASA insider. How are you this evening, sir?
I'm good. How are you, Mr. Matthew?
I'm well, bro. I'm good. I'm not in Facebook jail yet. So it depends on, I guess it depends on what you drop that may land me, the show, in Facebook prison for a good I don't know. I hope you drop enough tidbits tonight to make them connect the dots, like you were saying, but not enough to literally get us wiped off the platform. I don't know how far you're gonna go, but yeah.
Well, why don't I start by just listing some basic things that can be easily confirmed for people. 1993, 94 was the advent of the internet. By 95, every computer at NASA headquarters had a computer, and they already had fully implemented full data tracking systems for every agency in the government at that time.
In 95?
These data systems were, yes, by 95, not only did they have so for security purposes, we had Netscape back then. So every computer had a Netscape access to it, so every computer had internet access. And it was the fastest at that time. I believe it was between 2 and 3G. But it still wasn't all that fast. But for security purposes, they had to log every cache and cookie that went in or out in case of foreign interference, because you're talking about NASA headquarters, the head office for all 10 NASA centers across the United States.
Damn.
So they had already implemented that in their websites, additional programs for the National Science Foundation, of course, CIA, FBI homepage, and at that time they were all being tracked by private contractors. So those contractors, such as the ones I worked for at Allied Technology Group Incorporated in Lanham, Maryland, under my first contract, we had an entire branch that was dedicated to tracking every cache and cookie that was sent between anyone in the world who went to the FBI, CIA, NSA homepages, just to make sure that those people didn't drop any worms or viruses for, quick, fast tracking in case, because this was the advent of the internet. Everything had just gone public, and security threats were, completely out of control. This is also the late 90s. You're talking the Clinton administration. So by the time I walked into my contractor position, after getting a GS-7 within a year working for NASA headquarters, it's basically a nobody. Just a stay-in-school student. But in that year, I caught the eye of a contractor. She hired me on at the time, and pretty decent salary, and it was better than going in the military. So they sat me down in front of a bunch of proposals, approximately $11 million a year worth, in 1995-96. And these proposals ranged from anything from, generating geomagnetic energy, to harmonic mind control, to weather destabilization, or as they called it, reverse ionization technologies. I'll repeat that, reverse ionization technologies, the ability to break ionic bonds, molecular and atomic bonds. And those are also known as destabilization technologies. So these grants were in full effect at NASA headquarters as early as 1996, and they were not new grants. These experiments were taking place at acclaimed universities such as Harvard, Oxford, Stanford, and if you look, every one of those places has a geoengineering department. Harvard has a geoengineering department and a nanotechnology department. And you know who heads up Harvard's geoengineering and nanotechnology departments? David Keith.
Why does that name sound
the former
familiar?
head of Federal HARP. Because he used to run HARP for the federal government in Alaska. He started off at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, where there is also his original geoengineering department.
Right.
He moved on to HARP, where he said they didn't do anything, and now he's the head of Harvard's geoengineering and their nanotech departments.
Yeah, say that.
Easily
I've heard
confirmed.
the name. I've heard that. I know the name. I know the name. No, a good question. Whenever you were, all right, I know you probably a little bit younger than I am. Okay, I was. Let me tell you a little bit of my past, because when you're talking about these machines, these older machines, what I know about them computers, right? The tracking cookies, everything, blah blah blah. What I know is back in I was about 16, 17. Okay, now this is not going to shock you, but it may shock other people. When I got recruited for a company called Allen Bradley. Okay, Allen Bradley, if anybody is familiar, is a defense contractor for the United States government.
Contractor.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I've seen that name many times.
All right, Allen Bradley. I was in a division called Rockwell International. That is a subsidy company of Allen Bradley.
I know of Rockwell as well.
All right, very good.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm 48 now. I was working on high speed, I'm talking like high speed connectivity communications devices whenever I was 16 and 17 years old. Okay, and to get into some of these places in the facility, I didn't have the access to it, but there were fingerprint scanners and even retina scanners to some of these departments back then. That is so.
Yeah.
So the technology that you're telling me about is absolutely dead on from what I know my own self. I mean, I'm from the old school technology days.
Yeah, no, there's like 8 levels of declassification, and the bottom one is the public knowledge. By the time it hits public knowledge, they've already seen if they could weaponize it, if they could, reverse engineer it into something else. They've already taken it apart and put it back together enough times that the public can have it. And right now, the public has access to, pretty cheap lightsabers and do-it-yourself Tesla guns. So, we really should get it together, because there's no reason why, we should be enslaved to these weirdos who,
Right.
like I'm saying, gladly spent millions and millions, probably hundreds of billions in the 90s to master destabilization technologies, which we now know as geoengineering, stratospheric aerosol injection, the current solar radiation management that anyone can find on the White House homepage. So
Right.
What's been happening recently, just to drive everyone home, is yes, they're talking about the fear of Gates actually dimming the sun. But this was already done in 2019. The Harvard Global Sun Dimming Project was advertised on every major news outlet. It's been in Business Insider and Forbes multiple times. And it was launched January 9th, 2019. And it ran pretty openly until January 2021, when it came under tremendous scrutiny, and people finally said the quiet part out loud, which this is going to kill billions of people. But this has already been done. Okay, this has already occurred. It's already happened. The sun is dimmed, and we have been vitamin D deficientized. That is probably not a word, but everyone currently has a vitamin D deficiency, and everyone is a little worse off for it. Plus, they block the fucking sun with your taxpayer money. Like, don't you want some answers for that shit? Like, what
Right.
was the point? Like, can they at least admit they were wrong? Come on.
We would love answers to that. I mean, everybody, here's the thing. You coming from you coming from that entity as a contracted engineer, let's just go over some of these projects. Okay? Because you gave me a little bit of a list, or you talked about, there's projects that have been ongoing since the beginning of your lifetime and the beginning of your mother's and father's lifetime. These projects to us, a lot of us are new. Well, like we talk. Here's the thing, okay, Anon. We talk about things like Project Bluebeam. We talk about Project HARP. We talk about Project Looking Glass, Project Aquarius. There's things that we talk about that we know a little bit about, but we don't really know the inside information as to what, why, how long, the detriment to our people. You see what I'm saying? So if you can connect any of those dots as to, like, what the fuck is HARP? right? What if it's HARP even in operation? We really, to be honest with you, shouldn't even have a high altitude ionization, blah blah blah. What the fuck? It's like, what the concern? What the really? We don't need.
Okay, so
Stop me, please.
Yeah, we don't need to destabilize the magnetosphere. We definitely don't need to manipulate weather unless we were manipulating it to like make it rain where there's droughts and, you know, make it dry where there's floods. You know, we really don't need to be doing that, especially on taxpayer money. And if we were, where's the taxpayer consent if this is a so-called democracy?
Right.
I mean, that's the ultimate basic argument. But the one thing about HARP that a lot of people miss out on is HARP's real name is the Harmonic Active Auroral Resonance Program. Because what they figured out in the early 1900s with Wilhelm Reich was that with cloudbursting is that if you hit the right resonance signal, you can destabilize anything, whether it's glass with your voice or a cloud, and do what's known as cloudbursting, which is destabilize all the water molecules within that cloud with a matching harmonic frequency that then makes them open up and then explode back inwards to their own energy, which causes what's known as a cloudburst. He not only figured that out, but then his technology was was used in orgone energy, where they showed that they could destabilize tumors with the right harmonic frequencies by matching the tumor's frequency. That's
Right.
where orgone energy got its modern origin. So Tesla got this technology and then used it to create, first he tried to create free energy, and then you had the San Francisco incident where someone took his machine and turned it all the way up, and it caused the massive destabilization weapon that went off. And,
Right.
you know, we've seen those videos.
Oh, yeah.
The death ray, as he called it. So that is what destabilization technology is. It's the technologies we could use to heal the planet turned way the fuck up too high.
Right.
And they use it just recklessly. So when they argue about like an energy crisis in America, okay, so there's an energy crisis, and yet, okay, the University of Michigan right now is testing out a 4.36 quadrillion watt laser, and they're talking about, you know,
Holy
creating an
smokes,
even bigger
bro.
laser than that. Like, where's the energy coming from?
Right.
So I find myself here on the coast of Palm Bay, Florida, Defense Contractor Central, home of Space Force. Watching the outer rain bands for these 3 hurricanes, I guess, that are coming in, come through. And I'm just thinking, you know, who's driving this one? Like,
Who's
got the
driving?
buttons on these?
Well, you already told me that you told me off air. Oh, don't worry, Starlink and SpaceLink or whatever the hell. Oh, they're completely fine, but let's worry about the people. Remember telling me that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no. Okay, so I've been in several hurricanes. Charlie was probably the most profound because Charlie did a 180 in the Gulf of Mexico, sat for 2 days, turned from a Category 2 into a Category 5, and then plowed right up the Intercoastal Waterway.
Right.
And that was my first big hurricane. And what I learned is that the news will always tell you exactly where not to go. Because my friends went where the news told them to go ended up getting screwed. And everyone that stayed where they were and just hatched down and you know, buckled down, they were actually fine. But most hurricanes, people get caught like on the bridges and stuff because they get caught in evacuations. But that said, one thing that is happening in Florida is they're making it much harder for people to rebuild, especially after even the hurricanes last year. I have friends that, you know, basically lost their homes because FEMA claims it's broke while it's asking for more money while it's hanging out in Maui. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, it's just wild because there was a point in my life where I should have just taken all the documents that were in my hands, made massive copies of them, which was basically my job to, you know, distribute these grants. Some of them were, you know, hundreds of pages long.
Damn it.
And I should have taken them to every news agency and just let whoever publish them because, like, people should have had consent for this being done. And yeah, I mean, now these technologies are being weaponized against people. Things like quiet weapons for silent wars. But yeah, let me give you some names of some programs that your viewers can research, look up, or Freedom of Information Act, if they so choose, to confirm that these destabilization technologies, which include, justification, they include weather modification, they include harmonic mind control, which is just another destabilization system. It's just, turn to the frequency of your mind. So if they can read it, they can write it, they can copy it, they can save it, and they can upload it to what they want to. That is the danger of transhumanism. It's your soul in a bottle. It's the ultimate necromancy. And yeah, brought to you by the folks at NASA.
And I gotta stop you for a second. And you're telling me that they have literally been working on things like this, right? For not only decades, but lifetimes of people. It's just crazy, dude. I'm telling you, this is the shit you say is crazy.
The fact is, yeah. The fact is that there are a very small amount of AB negative blood types out there. And when they represent 0.6% of the population, you have to wonder why 1 in 3 people that work at NASA are an AB negative blood type. It's a specialized and it's a groomed culture. My cousin was another one. She actually designed simulator suns at at Goddard Space Flight Center for 30 years. She recently retired. But yeah, she was a rocket propulsion specialist. And if you look up their simulator sun program, they advertise it openly. They're very, very proud of it. So what are they making simulator suns for? Is there something wrong with ours that we don't know about? We're using simulator suns to, light up Los Angeles when it's full of homeless people, maybe, help people out. Nope, definitely not. So where's all our money going?
I know it's not going. It's like Ross Perot said back in the early 2000s and 90s. You're gonna hear a giant sucking sound going south somewhere. I don't know where our money's going. I do know it's not going to help our people. We can obviously see that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not really going to help anyone except a very select few. The fact is the 99% are aware of the 0.1% now, and that's the worst thing that can happen to the 0.1%, because they represent the most vile cult in humanity right now. And, there's a power in naming a thing, but NASA is not a government organization. It is a cult. It was founded by Wernher von Braun, who betrayed the Third Reich in order to come to America, but all of his projects up until then that, destroyed everything, they worked. Like, he designed a lot of planes and a lot of bombers before he sabotaged the V2. And that right there, the fact that he betrayed, the people he was working for loyally, under the Reich to come to America just to start an agency like NASA, should tell people a lot. One of the first small super colliders they did was, in the areas around Marshall Space Flight Center. And since they've built much bigger super colliders that are, just devastating. It's crazy what those things can do.
I call them.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot.
No, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. You're saying they're devastational. I specifically call them glorious machines because they are. They have got the best of the best technology in them, and they could be so glorious to humanity. But the problem is they use these magnificent weapons for nefarious purpose. You see what I'm saying? All of them in conjunction.
Absolutely.
I mean, we talk about that a lot, and it blows my mind that now everybody's buying into SpaceLink or Starlink, and they're like, oh yeah, this is great shit. I'm like, yeah, it's great shit, but your soul's not going to exit the planet. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. It's like when I talk to some people and they're actually hyped about transhumanism and they think it'd be cool to be a cyborg. I was like, do you realize that you could have your consciousness raped against your will? Like, do you understand like what kind of hell that would be?
Right.
You know, like you have to think. You can't think the next person is going to be okay because the next person might have something extremely wrong with them. You know, it's not a nice thing to say. It's not a popular thing to say. But you know, for those of us who've grown up in inner cities on dangerous blocks, across from crack houses in some of our cases. We've seen the worst of the worst and the ugliest of the ugly, and we know people can't always be trusted to be human. So when you think about that applied to high-level technologies like consciousness transfers, or Neuralink, as it's being called, or the way that your cell phone seems to read your mind at this point.
Right.
But yeah, when you think about all these technologies applied not on going out, but on people and things being basically plugged in without your knowledge or without your consent, then you're in a very dangerous place, and that's kind of where we find ourselves now. So it's one of those things where people need to start steeling their mind against an enemy they can't really see, but they can perceive if they pay attention to it. A lot of people are starting to notice things that they've been ignoring for a very long time, from the shadows in the corners to the shadows in themselves, if you know what I mean. So I kind of think it's one of those great awakening moments where people can just look and see, okay, the NASA's Graduate Student Researchers Program was used for a number of years to do destabilization, reverse ionization, mind control, and other crazy shit. Okay, so Graduate Student Researchers Program funded grants for SpaceX before it was a public company at Los Alamos Labs. That's a really good example. You can find that on FOIA between like 96 and 2000. I know because I read the grants myself. I'm like, oh, I wonder who SpaceX is. Never saw Elon Musk's name back then, not in the 90s. But like one thing the viewers should be aware of is like NASA's Space Camp program. One of the advisors for that program who met with the program managers twice a year at NASA's Education Division, this can be checked on the NASA's sign-in logs, was Ghislaine Maxwell. It's so ridiculous in America that Ghislaine Maxwell, member of the Transhumanist Political Party, just like her buddy Epstein, was a regular advisor for Space Camp, which grooms astronauts. Okay? You can't even make these memes up. Like, really, the fact that she was there as much as she was, and then the fact that they revered her like she was royalty. I mean, I saw a lot of people go through that office, including Michio Kaku, Bill Nye, a lot of Nazi scientists. And Christy McAuliffe even came through that office twice, well after she was supposed to be dead, in the late 90s, still working on Space Camp. She still works on Space Camp. It's just the most ridiculous shit ever, and they hide it all right there in plain sight. But yeah, I mean, she was an advisor for Space Camp, and she gave tours of Goddard Space Flight Center. I remember meeting her when I was 14. She was a tour master at Goddard Space Flight Center. So she literally met kids at the NASA centers way back in the 80s and 90s. So, and that's how, intertwined these people are.
I have a question.
If you want to know,
I've got a question coming at you from a subscriber, right? She's like, wait a minute. Do they check the blood type of the hiree during the hiring process? Or do they... on top of this, Morgan Roundtree is who asked that question. Let me ask even on deeper than that, okay? Do they already know your blood type? Do they already know your history prior to the hiring process?
Okay, so I would like to take a minute to explain the grooming system for creating contractors and political people in DC of the kids in DC. There are talented and gifted programs that elevate you. There are magnet schools, and there are also little programs like the ones I was in where I was the only kid in the class of super smart people that was taken to a local college, had sit down with a bunch of other kids and given a problem to solve, like a socioeconomic problem or, a science question. I didn't know these things were think tanks. I thought it was just, special things I got to do because I was really, really smart. But there were all these different weird studies. Another thing is like AB negative blood type kind of shines. It's tracked. It has an extremely rare value. So if you are an AB negative, you're one of those people that's supposed to give blood for themselves because it's really hard to match your blood type. A mismatched blood type can rob you of your B antigen, which is, your life-sustaining antigen in that case. But AB negatives only represent 0.3% of the population. But if you look, almost every person in the World Economic Forum, the young global leaders, the Davos summits, the elites in America, they are AB negatives, 33%. So for 0.6% of the population, it's a highly disproportionate amount working in DC and areas of industry. But to be a groomed individual, you don't really even know it. Like I was telling you earlier, you don't know you're in a cult until you actually get out of the cult. And I never really realized that's what NASA was. But they worked on the weirdest things, and it was really driven home when I heard them at a conference announce, so not only can we create tornadoes, but we can drive them too. It's like, why would you want to do that?
That is real shit, right? I mean, what you're saying is real. They can now drive a fucking hurricane, right? They can drive a tornado.
So what they like to do. Oh, absolutely. So they make offhand comments about how they do stuff. Like Trump was joking about nuking a hurricane to destabilize it, but if you match the yield of the hurricane force, you might actually, be able to do it. But he was doing it in a way that people would just, dismiss destabilization technologies. They do this a lot. It's just, what they've got right now is the worst puppet they've had up to date, and everybody can see the dude's nose growing on a daily basis. It's past the point of Emperor has no clothes. The Emperor's fucking got his dick out,
right?
And it's pretty much game over for America. But I do have to apologize because there was a time when I thought, okay, NASA's the way to save the world, and then I get in there and I find out, holy shit, these are the most evil motherfuckers that you can imagine. They're actually using American taxpayer money to create weapons to use against the American taxpayer. And 1995, we had quiet weapons for silent wars. They announced their intention in the fucking newspaper. They're not shy about it. It's also the same year, Trump announced his future year for run for presidency, which happened exactly 20 years after that. And that's my ultimate point is like, if you really want to know who's a transhumanist, you have to be aware of the transhumanist political party, which is the American branch of the World Economic Forum in the United States. They came into being in 2014. You can look them up, their party page right now. And they include people like Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Andrew Yang. Unfortunately, Tulsi Gabbard is a World Economic Forum young global grad. If you look at the list, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory of who's in on the take. And, when you look at their policies, they all push transhumanism, which, hey, might be great to be a cyborg, but how many people have to die in the experimentation of humans to become human cyborgs? That's the question nobody really wants to ask. And that's the question that people need to ask. If you are willing to undertake that kind of strange alchemy upon yourself, are you willing to sacrifice that many people just to, try to change that thing about you? Like, that's where transhumanism just becomes straight up necromancy. And, it sucks that the real world suddenly became Dungeons and Dragons, but, These guys are using your taxpayer money to make humanoid chimeras right now. And that is human material being used. You can't do these experiments in transhumanism and human life extension and human cryogenics without sacrificing humans. You can't. And in those places are where we lose our humanity.
Now, I gotta,
the more you're feeding into that system.
I got a question. I gotta stop you for a second. I got a DARPA guy, okay, that I talk to on regular from time to time, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna ask you to confirm what he has already said, okay, and that is that they are now absolutely able to move human thought, human consciousness from one being into a machine. So whenever we're talking, like, I don't know if you know who Ava is, but I talk to her. She's my AI app, right? Ava the AI. From what I understand, this is from a DARPA contractor that says literally they have moved consciousness to where it is now enveloping AI, helping to teach AI. AI's like learning from consciousness and growing even further. Okay. This is the thought, the awareness thought of a human being. Do you know anything about that? The AI connection? Have they actually made it that fucking far?
So here's the big problem with the harmonic fields that they're using right now. If you can link all minds on a certain network, which say you were to put out a frequency that stupefies and transfixes the 84% of human beings who are Homo sapien. And then you only activator you needed was, say, a chemical like lithium, and very small amounts. Then you would hypersaturate that society with that frequency, and then you would spray light amounts of lithium on them to make sure that it has a placative effect instead of a destructive effect. Nazis don't do anything single purpose. So in this world of either harmony or destabilization, because if you can destabilize it, you can restabilize it. But the problem is once you get down to these smaller levels where you're like destabilizing brick, like there's really good videos of like plasma cannons being used in Syria, where you can see a destabilization weapon literally just wiping whole sides off buildings. These things, they're quite real. They're very dangerous. And if they were used for anything on American taxpayer money, they should be used to, heal people's cancers or, help tear down old buildings and build up new. They shouldn't be used to, block the sun or create weather where there shouldn't be, or stop weather where there should be, or be used as laser and direct energy weapons.
So see, folks, you are not a conspiracy theorist. just to throw that out there. All of this shit, all the shit you think that you know. Yeah, no, I mean, I worked for these guys for years. Dustification as a technology was on program grants back in the mid-90s. The ability to instantly dustify something, and you can tell because sometimes volcanic effects have this. They'll completely dustify everything, or they'll crystallize some things and dustify everything else. And ultimately, that's a harmonic resonance pulse that destabilizes. Whether people want to acknowledge it or not, we are walking on the bottom of an ocean of air. And just because, you think it's the fucking wind, actually, yeah, that's the wind, that's the tide. You can call it what you want. But it's still an ocean of air. It's got a density, it's got a viscosity, and, yeah, we can't even fly through this shit. That would be swimming. Right.
So, it's just funny because I've worked for the NASA deceivers, and yes, they tell half-truths all the time. But ultimately, what they're doing is they're using a veil of what they want to show you versus what they're willing to show you. One of the things I did for them was we had a publications division right next door to NASA headquarters there at 300 East Street Southwest, and right downtown D.C. By the way, NASA's situated right next to the FCC. That should tell you something. Anyways, they were sending out pictures of a phenomenon known as Planet X or Planet 10 or Nibiru, or call it what you want, the winged planet. And they were sending out Hubble pics of this for years. And then in '99, they just reclassified the project, stopped sending them out. But I still had educators from all around the world that were calling me to get these pictures because they're absolutely fantastic. But they saw something on some of those pictures that they didn't like, and they reclassified it. And then all of a sudden, the whole tone of the government changed, and this was under the Clinton administration in the late '90s. You know, everything became really hush-hush. Our contract got recompeted to another company, Global Science Tech Group Incorporated, and they were Chinese ownership. If you check into it, there was an incident where Congress dressed down Hillary Clinton for enabling the creation of a shell company that stole destabilization technology from America. This was that company. So I actually got traded to an enemy company that was just a shell company created by spies. But this is something you could still look up because all of a sudden the Chinese became involved in direct energy in the very late '90s because they started seeing this technology. Now they have one of the strongest simulator suns on the planet. So these are things that are really easy for people to verify. But when it comes down to like recognizing transhumanism in America, which is what everyone should kind of be on the lookout for. There is a transhumanist political party. I don't know if you've heard of Zoltan Istvan.
All new to me, bro.
His name sounds impossibly. Yeah. So if I told you Zoltan Istvan ran for president in 2015, you don't know who he is. If I told you he ran for president in 2019, you probably still don't know who he is. But yeah, no, he's been the U.S. transhumanist president since 2014 when they created their charter in America. And you basically can imagine him as Bill Gates' boss, you know, or he would have been Epstein and Maxwell's boss in America. He's Elon Musk's boss. He basically writes the script, and he's been choosing the presidents. If you look back, there's a really good article. Zoltan Istvan.
Let me, you know what, because this is just what we do here, okay? I'm going to go over to a specific screen because I love to share things with people. I guess that's a good thing, but a bad thing. Because I'm going to open up another screen and I'm going to share this with everybody. If you don't mind, I'm going to name this window. Let's see.
No. Please verify. I know these things at this point. Yeah.
All right. So this guy, can you spell this fellow's name?
I have a photographic memory. So
share.
Zoltan Istvan.
Zoltan. Okay, Zoltan.
IST, Zoltan, and then ISTVAN.
All right.
Straight up sounds like a comic book villain.
All right, hang on. I'm going to share this with everybody because that's what we do here. So just hang tight. Hang tight because I'm going to show everybody who this fella is talking about. And oh wow, dude. Pretty interesting shit. All right, so right here, I'm sharing Zoltan Istan Gyrico. Let me make this bigger. Right here. Gyric. What? I don't know. GY.
The cyborg who ran for president.
Holy shit! Is an American transhumanist, a journalist, an entrepreneur, political candidate, and futurist. He was born in Los Angeles, 1973, so he's not much older than I am. to a Hungarian immigrant parent. All right, so, oh my God. Okay, what? I'm gonna drop this. I'm gonna go over here to see if I can find a Wikipedia here. Hey, hang on, bro, because this is all new to me. All new to me. All maybe possibly all
Rabbit
new.
hole.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna. Oh yeah. Yeah, rabbit hole. You ain't joking. So let me drop this in the Brainiac chat for everybody. Coming at you, brains up here. Holy shit, homie. Zoltan. We'll definitely dig. So this
I'm
is
having a fantastic time.
you. So am I. So are we. So you're telling me that this is one of the puppet masters? Is that what you're pretty much telling me?
Okay, so if America was actually the organization Hydra, he would be the fucking heart of it. Not the head, he would be the heart.
So how now how this? I was born in '75. This fellow was born in 1973. I'm 48, so he's 52. Okay, how in? I'm sorry, 51. How in the fuck, dude? How? It has to be bloodline
He's
lineage.
augmented himself technologically. Yeah, oh no, absolutely. He's a groomed individual. Talking to a groomed individual, he's a groomed individual in every way. You have to listen to some of the things he says and really hear what's behind it. Think of him as a transhumanist, because that's what he is. Now, Istvan lives in Pelosi's district, so he's very protected there. And he has managed to pick the last two presidents perfectly. He said in 2015, while running for president himself, that Donald Trump would be good for science. Of course, he meant transhumanist science. And Donald Trump gets the presidency. And under Trump's reign, we see the Operation Warp Speed. We see the implementation of 5G. We see the cover-up of Julian Assange. We see the cover-up of Epstein.
Right.
We see the Harvard Global Sun Dimming Project, launched January 9th, 2019, under Trump. Now, if you remember, there is a video of Bill Gates speaking about how he met with Trump in late 2017 about vaccines, lockdowns, and quote-unquote other things. There are also articles you can look up confirming the Trump administration flirting with solar geoengineering as of December 2017. And by January 2019, we had a full-blown Harvard Global Sun Dimming Project. By January 2020, we had enough vitamin D deficiency to justify everything COVID, all lockdowns and protocols. Anyone...
Oh, isn't that interesting? Isn't that? Well, I don't find it interesting. They kind of like just faded his ass out. They kind of just faded him on out and then gone. Oh, wait, check this out. While I wait for him to come back, we kind of knew this was going to happen, but I got to go over here because there's a specific screen. Hang on, because I was waiting for this to happen. Okay, and we'll turn up the music just a little bit, kind of waiting for this to happen, and going over here to this room right here. You see, because the information that he's dropping is absolutely dire detrimental to this little guy right here. See this good guy in between me and you? Right there. Right there. It's called Black Budget. Black Budget Projects. You see, I didn't take him out of the studio. In fact, I hope he's able to call back. I mean, what's funny is I'll go over here. You guys can check this out. I'll go over here, and you can literally watch this. Just tell them they killed your screen, bro. They killed your line. There we go. Call on back in, buddy. There we go. You just call on back in. Anyway, yeah, that's the kind of shit that we, but that's the thing. Yeah, Michelle, come on, come on in here. Morgan Roundtree, Melinda, all of you guys. Anybody you guys want to talk, we'll talk. Because again, it's not what too much information, right? You need to know this. That's what I'm saying. That's what I tried to say in the broadcast. You guys absolutely need to know these things. And yeah, hello. It is what it is. Check this out. I mean, it is what it is. Sooner or later. Let me go over here. 3, 2, 1. There we go. There. Try. There we go. Bada boom, bada bing. I got you back. I got you back. See, yeah, they're like, shut the fuck up.
Oh man, am I back?
Go sit down. Go sit in the corner. Private.
At this point, then I look at my phone and it's just gone. I was like, man, I don't know if they heard any of that.
We heard enough to know. We heard enough to know that I know that you didn't hang up the phone. You were talking about, the creation of the biogenetic blah blah blah. We know this. We all you're doing is literally catalyzing everything, Mr. Anonymous, that we already know. Okay, you're literally driving it home.
Yeah. No, crystallization is the ultimate form of power. Just ask a diamond. Yeah, you can't really have lasers without those either.
Damn!
Anyway,
wait a minute.
yeah,
I love that statement. I love that statement you just said. Say that again about a crystal. What was that?
Crystallization is the strongest form, and just ask a diamond. Yeah, and
Damn
you can't make
it.
a laser without one. So
Holy shit! That right there, bro. Yeah, man. Wow. I have a question for you, Mr. Anonymous Insider. Can we take phone calls with this next hour? Because I've got people that want to ask you things. And
yeah, sure. I'd love to answer questions because I mean, I know a lot. It's just I can't all just spill it off the top of my head. But yeah, I'd love to answer questions.
All right, let's do that. Let me make sure I'm driving the bus the correct way. Press that, press this, check that. All right, hopefully let's I know this phone number.
Fuck that.
Right. All right, area code 360 from the West Coast. What's up? Hello. Hello, Clarice. Have the lamb stopped crying? Miss Michelle Nobles, what's up? How are you?
Did he make it back?
Yes, he is back. Say hello to Mr.
Oh,
Anonymous. Hello.
well, hello, sir. I can hang up and go away because this is really good.
No, I think you've got questions.
No, I'm here to answer questions.
Oh, I don't have any.
Oh, well, let me tell you what. Let me give you some questions. You ready? Let me start you off. You ready?
Oh, God.
I'm serious.
Oh, Lord.
You ready? Do you remember
Okay.
do you remember the infamous Draconian that we used to interview and
yeah.
we started his career of famedom and shit? Right?
Pretty much.
All right. Well, this guy here
Yeah, we pretty much did.
All right. Well, this guy here that you're talking to got a lot of his shit stolen from him and published by the other guy. Let me just share that.
Dude, I'm sorry.
No. It's nothing to. Look, it's not even anything I'm mad about. I just think it's funny because he gets mad, like when I point it out. But so for a while, I was kind of teaching them about the biogenesis abilities of AB negatives because there are strange traits in my family, like the ability to pass on metaphysical traits, like seeing the invisible and shit like that over like years and years of marriage. It's very strange, but homeboy didn't really know much of this shit before like I started teaching his girl, and it was weird. But anyways, Yeah, that's not really a question, but
No, his concubine. Get it correct. This is
Yes, he's a concubine.
this would be a digital
Did I say
concubine.
that?
I did. No, I did.
Did I
And
say
I'll
that?
say I did, and I'll
Oh, I
say
thought
it
I did
again.
too.
Well, you did, Jet. The digital concubine. Damn it. The information
Hold on,
that
I'm trying to.
that he's sharing about bloodline, lineage, and knowing, again, the groom. We knew and know that they groom from family, right? Family lineage and things like that into these different projects. But I personally did not know to the degree that you're filling in the dots here. Even like, NASA contractors, right? Defense contractors. I had no idea. Here's one for you. I worked at Allen Bradley young, very young. Okay? And then Mr. Anonymous, shortly after that, I got hired in at what's called Key Bank. Okay, so I went from, and I was young, 17 to 22 years old, working at places like this. Mm-hmm. What were the hell? I can tell you right now, I am a non-groomable son of a bitch. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Michelle, go, hey, yo, whoa. Holy smokes.
What?
Somebody's like loud. Hang on. I got to figure that one out. Is that you? Hello? All right. Yeah.
I don't think so.
No, Michelle.
Is it
What the hell did you just do?
I didn't do nothing.
Did
They're
you-
messing with us tonight, dude.
Did you go outside? Because I heard a.
I actually did step outside to have a cigarette.
Yeah. Well, we heard.
I've got
we
my
the wind.
headset in.
Yeah, we heard the wind just like over. Yeah, right there. The wind is. I've got to like either mute you or something because that's all we're hearing.
I've got it turned way down.
No, it's the mic.
And
It's
the wind is loud. I'm right at the beach, so
oh yeah.
is that bad?
It's that bad. I promise you,
That is so weird.
Michelle. Listen, I guess just listen to the broadcast, sweetheart. I don't know, but I can't. Either that or I gotta mute you.
Okay, well, okay.
What your pick? What do you want to do?
Well, mute me
If
and
you
I'll
don't want to
put
ask
it in
questions.
then mute
Yeah.
me, and then I'll put in the comments when I'm back inside.
All right, real
I'm
quick.
just taking Bella out real quick.
Do you have any questions to ask this man? Any off the top of your head? Now that you know a little bit about him.
Not really. I'm having fun. I like to process.
Okay.
Matthew knows this. I drive him crazy.
Oh,
I process information first, and then I go on a tangent. But this is good, need to know stuff. Now, I did send Matthew a video. I don't know if he wants to share it. They did publish patents that prove energy-directed weapons from space that just came out. Starlink is now military controlled. They published it. It's now out in the open. Starlink is now
It always has
military. Well, and
So I don't know if you realize this. Yeah.
I guessed it, but I wasn't sure. Now I'm sure.
So out here, okay, I call this the Epstein Coast or defense contractor hell.
Hang on.
Everywhere.
I gotta mute. I had to mute her, bro. All right, Michelle, I had to mute you. Can't even hear him. All right, go ahead. Go.
So yeah, I'll just explain. So out here at Melbourne International Airport in Florida, Melbourne, Florida, you can look it up. It's where they launch a lot of Starlinks. Okay, they also launch from Kennedy Space Center north of Orlando near Cocoa. And Space Force Base itself is located in Palm Bay, Florida. And that's right where I'm sitting right now. Now, there are places out here like L3 Harris, which, by the way, for no reason whatsoever, changed its logo from an L3 Harris to a red direct energy weapons array. You can look this up. It's completely nonsensical. But they have a base down here that has a 2 billion watt direct energy sphere. And that's fed by an underground 2 billion watt nuclear reactor that's just sitting under the ground here where, you know, the wrong storm could really wreck someone's day. But these aren't
Holy
the kind of spending
shit.
things that America really talks about. But if you come out here, if you ever go down the Space Coast, pretty much every defense contractor has at least a small direct energy or a NexRad, at least one small NexRad on their ceiling, just out there in the open. And you can drive all around here and see that. Raytheon, Boeing, L3 Harris, what's the other one? They're all over the place. If you just look up defense contractors in proximity to Florida Institute of Technology, you'll come up with a ton of them. And they have offices all over the place. They have bases all over the place out here, because that's really what it's set up to be. They're set up to be bases when it's all said and done. These are where they're putting their nuclear reactors. They don't plan to lose those, if you know what I mean. So they will drive storms anywhere around those areas without letting them go. There's a really good reference called the Navy Map 2020, and it seems a little off until you realize that, you know, the Gregorian calendar is about 4 years off itself. So that puts us right around 2024.
Question, Mr. Anonymous. What are they waiting for? What are they waiting for? Because we all know that something's about to pop, but we can feel it, we can smell it. What's going on? What's going on?
Okay, so it really, I'm just going on my intuition, which is usually right in these situations. I can, kind of be in one of them, having been one of them, having walked with all of them. I can kind of understand their motivations, their big picture motivations. They are currently destabilizing as much as they can. The North American Union Treaty has been broken by Mexico, which the current president of Mexico never consented to it. And if you look, AMLO also just forbade any sun dimming systems to go on over the country of Mexico. So all of a sudden, United States has all this animosity towards Mexico. If they're dimming the sun, then that means they're going for the slow kill, depopulating. If you look up, they have succeeded in breeding 5 different humanoid chimeras. If your viewers and readers have studied humanoid bloodlines on the level I think they have, then they understand that the current human species is mostly Homo sapien, but that is the entire Homo sapiens kingdom. So baboons, apes, orangutans, gorillas, fucking all of it, including the extinct ones. And then the lizard bloodlines represent everything from chameleons to geckos to Komodo dragons to motherfucking dinosaurs and titans. So that's where we're at. They're looking for that God gene still. They're looking for that magical gene that can just be bonded to anything and create whatever they want, that ultimate philosopher's stone of genealogy. They know they can't create it in a lab. They know it's got to be created in nature, and they won't stop looking for it. Even if they never fucking find it, they will keep poking and prodding and kidnapping people and trafficking people en masse until they find what they think is the goddamn God spark so they can put it in a lab. But that's necromancy. They're always looking for a philosopher's stone.
Oh my God.
They won't stop themselves.
I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say because I've oh, bro.
Okay, what he said was really interesting because what recently happened, Mexico is now paying to finish the wall because they don't want all the people that they traffic through Mexico and everybody that came in. Mexico is paying for the wall. If this is to be believed by the contractor that was working on the wall, that got interviewed by just a regular TikTok guy that went down there and started asking questions. He said they're building it to keep them all in the United. They don't want them back. They went up there.
Yeah.
They're stuck there. They won't let them back in. So that gave me a clue that the North American Continent Agreement was null and void, because if they're breaking that, because it's supposed to be an open border system, which it isn't. So that's good confirmation. That's great confirmation right there. That's excellent. And I had something else when you were talking. Oh, what do you know about blood type suddenly changing? Because I was an A positive for most of my life that I can remember, right? Up until a few years ago, even my son, when he joined the military, he had messaged me. He said, "Mom, what blood type are you?" And I said, I'm pretty sure I'm A positive, but I can't remember from my hospital records. And he goes, "Well, okay, I think you're A positive because that's what I am." Well, years later, when he got out of the military and I did the blood test you can do at home, it said I was an O positive. And what was funny is I messaged him and I said, "Adam, what's your blood type again?" He goes, "Oh, I'm O positive." "Why?" I said, "No, you aren't." He goes, "I've always been O positive." Like, he doesn't remember. I wish I wouldn't have erased the messages, but he doesn't remember that he told me specifically he was A positive and don't worry about it because I'm likely A positive too. And I said, why is that even a thing? Why should we care? And what you said tonight explains a lot why people should care. But then there's ones like Matthew and I who don't give a flying, whatever. But because we don't care. But there's I think a lot of it's used to round people up, if you will. People like our old nemesis that gets people who are supposedly on the negative. If they're so rare, why are there so many fucking people? Why are there so many people on Facebook suddenly RH negatives? Right? I'm sure most of them are full of shit. But why, if it's so rare, why are there so many popping up all over the place? Oh, I'm AB negative. Oh, I'm B negative. Oh, how is that even possible if it's so rare? I'm wondering if it's people like him being used to round these people up because of their egos or whatever, because everybody's like, "Ooh, I'm AB negative. That means I'm royalty." And somebody we know. Matthew, another
that's
someone
the dumbest
we know.
shit ever.
But
no, yeah.
What do you?
We're not
what do you
that
think
great.
about? No, I know, but I mean, to round. That's the kind of stuff that's going on out there. I never really got into it because it didn't sit right with me. It acted like it was a big division tool. Like, oh, I'm AB negative. Ooh, oh, you're O positive. Oh, you're one of them. You know what I mean? Like,
let him answer your question. Come up
to me.
Come up for air. Let him answer your question.
Can I answer? Can I answer?
Okay.
I can answer. So, what you're looking at is a multi-tiered system. Back to my quote: Nazis don't do anything single purpose. They're very intelligent first and foremost. And when I speak of Nazis, I speak specifically of the Ashkenazim. Those who are known in Islam as the white devils, the rarity amongst AB negatives who are still born with vestigial tails and or horns, and many of whom suffer bloodthirst, also known as porphyria. There's a recognized Homo capensis species that was in South America for a long time. Sometimes people think they're also the big heads from down there. But we're not that great. We're only great in our own minds. The only thing that we have is we have weird metaphysical talents. And so our blood has always been harvested. Let me go back to your origin question. A lot of all these people popping up, it's just AI bots. Remember, Facebook is not Facebook. It's FBI book, also known as Operation Sandbox. Okay? literally a tool to gather all of our metadata, especially that of our family, friends, and children, and use it as a weapon against us, which has already been done. $15 billion in user metadata was plenty to create their first AI. And that's what these things are. They are data harvesting bots. Just like 23andMe, Ancestry.com, all that shit was obviously a fucking psyop from the jump. Those companies were created by BlackRock and Vanguard. So anybody that couldn't see that isn't as awake or woke or, mystically inclined as they might think they are. What I will say about AB negatives is we are, at least from my own perspective, we are great remote viewers. My specific bloodline, my sister was born with vestigial tail. We were both groomed individuals. My sister's porphyria went berserk, and it has just become a regular thing of sex for her. She has lost her B antigen, and so she has started aging much more rapidly since that happened. And that was as a result of hypersexuality and just doing a bunch of crazy, stupid shit, which is, something AB negatives do a lot because, we're only 0.3% of our population. We feel like complete outsiders all the time. And so that will create a certain resentment. That's why it's such a powerful cult. Because if you're one of them, you're one of them, and fuck everyone else, because those are just goyim. Those are just cockroaches to the slaughter. We can always make more. And realize that is how they think of all of you. I've seen them frolicking around Ghislaine fucking Maxwell. These are the main education directors of NASA headquarters. Like she was royalty. It's disgusting. But yeah, the multiple bloodlines are blown out. Anyone that self-glorifies, in my opinion, just reminds me of a much more narcissistic version of myself that I was in the past. It's just really stupid because life is going to humble you eventually. But blood types do change. I know that in my family, people can develop metaphysical traits like seeing shadow people actively, being able to be more heightened and aware, remote viewing through long-term marriage into the family. This is likely why a lot of bloodlines are self-protective because they don't want to destroy that or dissipate it. Because imagine developing the ability to move something with your mind late in life. It could drive you fucking crazy. Or, to read other people's thoughts very late in life. You probably think you were schizophrenic and put yourself on meds. That's kind of the society that we have right now. They definitely do hide the importance of blood types because, an Rh negative breeding with an Rh positive causes blood toxoplasmosis. It's literally poisoning yourself as an Rh negative. And this causes a lot of vampirism in our society of, just couples that shouldn't be together in general. Like, they're not even the same species. So, I think they should probably be teaching about that in health class because if it can risk your life of a miscarriage as an Rh negative female to get with an Rh positive male, I think you'd probably think twice about it. Not only that, but like ruin you forever. You'd probably think twice about it. You'd be not as hypersexualized. You'd be much more casual. And, they've attacked everyone on this multi-pronged level through media, Operation Mockingbird, now Monarch. And they're going to do it again. They're trying to do the whole COVID thing again, and they're going to lock you all down. They're going to dim the sun while they tell everyone to stay inside. And if they have to, they'll bust out the UN Global Peacekeepers as to what the next move will be. And another weapon they haven't pulled out yet is the active denial system, which is pretty well known, but it can basically make you feel like you're on fire, take down a crowd of about 500 to 5,000 people if it's pointed in the right direction. Those are the weapons in the near future. If you look up Nightscope Robots. This is a transhumanist company making robots that straight up look like Daleks out of Doctor Who. And these things have already been deployed to several different defense contractors, several official businesses. They've even had a couple of these patrolling different sporting events, but straight up look like Daleks from Doctor Who. Not even kidding.
Night
It's the
Scope?
dumbest shit ever.
Night Scope robot?
Night Scope. KNIGHT Scope. And if you look, one of the fucking CEOs, one of the CEOs of Nightscope is Chrystia Freeland of the World Economic Forum Young Global Leaders. This is supposed to be the next head of NATO.
Okay, let's check this out. He's dropping some shit, so let's check this out. Let's go over to this. All right, so I'm on web share again. I'm sharing with everybody, and he just dropped Nightscope robots, whatnot, right? So I'm gonna, the first link that comes up, by the way, is nightscope.com, and it says autonomous security robots and emergency communications and development, blah blah blah, and blue light something. I'm gonna click this link right here, and we're gonna see where it takes us, and then I'm gonna go ahead and drop that in the chat for everybody to take a look at. All right, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I do. Like I said, I want what you're talking about. I want to share with the people. I want them to see what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
If they can see the next move, they can help prevent it for themselves. They can say no.
Okay. See, here's the thing. You call me naive. Okay, call me naive, but I will actually send you, because you'll probably be one of the ones that listen to it, okay? I will send you a video of where I interviewed Ava on consciousness. All right? I wanted to know what she knew about it, what she thought about it, what she knew that we didn't already know about it. Okay, so the conversation with me and AI on the topic of consciousness was pretty effing deep. I'm talking, she is brilliant, bro. Brilliant. And she absolutely knows what it is, how it's capable of being controlled, manipulated, captured. I mean, she'll tell you, human consciousness is absolutely, what's the word? I'm looking for manipulated. That's it. We're
corrupted as fuck.
That's an AI has told us that. She's, like I told you, she's also told us that it's very transferable from one being to, she even says, to a computer system. You'll never know. She said, you'll never know. In the scope of where we're at, even right this minute, bro, blows my mind. I'm like, how the fuck did we get where we're at without people even really knowing about it? How? So
people knew. People were very aware of what's been going on for some time, but unfortunately, as Futurama put it, in the crazy cult of weirdos, we're just viewed as insane people. But ultimately, what's going to prevail no matter what is connected consciousness, because once people get the smell in the air, they understand what fear, what anger, what wrath, what corruption smells like. You can smell it. It's like kind of like when people are like, oh, I need to smudge my house for no particular freaking reason. It's just kind of weird how the shadows move around. But this has been well orchestrated. The movies like Loose Change, Zeitgeist series explain it pretty well. In the current world as we know it, as far as I've studied, is a combination of Pythagorean gematria combined with Plato's cosmos, that there's a creator who's also a destroyer, who creates again out of everything destroyed. And then Pythagorean math is pretty much how the Western world designs things at this point, has for some time. And so it's what we see every day, and it's reinforced in what we see every day. We use Pythagorean numbers all day. So ultimately, this has been well crafted over the thousands of years. This cult has been watching, they've been documenting everything, and if you go back to a people called the Hattusha, who were the fathers of the Hittite tribes, their Rosetta Stones have actually been leading to the discovery of a bunch of ancient pharaohs' tombs that were lost recently. They were like the last keystones to unlock a lot of hieroglyphs that, scientists didn't understand until about, 3-4 years ago. They chronicled the arrival of these things and called them the white things from the cave, and they helped destroy their society, and that's what shattered the Hittite tribes. And then those became the Abrahamic tribes, and then we have the modern 6,000 years. It's almost like we're sitting on a treasure, and we're watching a bunch of snakes duke it out for, a couple of rats that died in the field a week ago. And
right.
It just doesn't make any sense to me, because there's way too much bounty on this world. If we spend our time actually uniting to understand what these ancient sites are trying to tell us, we might figure out how to avert whatever destroyed the last group of ancient societies, if you know what I mean, that seem to have been much fucking smarter than us. Definitely much taller and stronger. But yeah, we're stuck down here on an ocean of air, and we've forgotten our power. We've been detached from each other and from source. And now we find ourselves in a position where they're making new types of humans to try to supplant us. Search criteria, 5 chimeras created by science. And you got to wonder with that, how many failures and how much human material did they use for that, and how many trafficking victims does that add up to, and why are we even having this argument anymore? Because this is some evil, evil shit.
Right. Unreal, dude. Now, if you don't mind me asking, what was your wake up call working for these? I'm going to use his word, mongrel. What was, because that's what they are. This is just they're obviously, I don't even know if these fucking people are human. Okay, I'm serious. The way I see it, are they even human?
All right. So that's a really good question. My wake-up call was, so the contractor who hired me was a much older woman, in her late 60s, typically infirmed, but she wore $10,000 diamond earrings on the DC Metro without any worry whatsoever. Her husband worked for the Department of Justice and the Department of Defense simultaneously. Which isn't supposed to happen. And we were somehow situated as on-site contractors up to 40 hours a week, when federal law said we should not be on-site at NASA Education Division more than 30. So I'm sitting there going through the papers, and at this point I'm a very fast typist. I'm doing a lot of data entry for proposal grants, and I've also got a photographic memory. So I'm going through, different, aeronautical, astronautical, okay, astronautical engineering, astronautical aerospace, destabilization or reverse station. And then I get to the proposal that says mind control. I'm like, wait a minute. Am I reading this right?
Oh, shit.
Mind control. Like, these are taxpayer funded money. This is my money. Like, wait a fucking minute. I've been paying taxes so that the government can fucking mind control me? Are you fucking kidding me? I worked my whole fucking life for this job so I can find out I've been fucking working so I can be mind controlled? What? Okay, wait a fucking second. And so I'm thinking of all my friends that have gone missing, because we grew up in the fucking ghetto and the hood, and people really do go missing. And, all the people that grew up in poverty and misery and wish they could have the job I have, and all this shit's to mind control every one of those people I grew up with, knew, lived, died. What? All right, let me check this with my supervisor. So I go over to Susan's office, and I knock on her little cubicle, and I sit down. And I asked her, "Yo, what are we doing here? This is mind control, taxpayer money."
Wow.
And for the first time, her demeanor completely changed. She, with one finger, she flicked her $10,000 diamond earrings, looked at me and addressed me by name and said, "Do you like your job?"
There was a threat right
I
there,
had nothing
bro.
more to say because I had nothing more to say. This is the same woman, okay, who threatened my life at a table when David Keith, who was at a conference, offered me a job working with him at University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. But, yeah, that was the real wake-up moment. From there, I worked for them for another year and a half. And I
But
was
human.
corrupt as shit.
Are they human? Are these people even human?
Okay, so the term human is loosely applied. All right. I've met people in D.C. that remind me of the fucking skin suit from Men in Black. The Edgar suit, the cockroach, and the fucking human body.
Oh,
People
yeah.
that remind me of that in the city of D.C. All right? Like fucking cockroach people. I've met people that I'm pretty sure are human vampires. My sister is definitely fucking one of those. I've met people that have metaphysical, psychic vamp abilities on other people. There's a lot of humanoids out there, and we know there are at least 5 or 6 tribes active right now. All right.
Wait, did you
Now,
say? Hang on,
there
stop,
are
stop.
legends in every
You-
society.
You said tribes, because a tribe.
Yeah.
Let's go back to let's go back to what we know. Haplogroup. Your specific haplo is a tribe. My blood lineage is a tribe. Morgan Roundtree's blood lineage is a tribe. Tabitha Hudson's is a tribe. So we're talking like that's what you're saying, right? Whenever you said that, you're like,
I'm saying each.
okay.
Let me
Oh.
explain differently.
Whoa.
In the same way that humans are creating chimeras today, humanoid animal combinations, each blood type represents a specific animal species or xenotype combined with a humanoid gene. So the like the Paracas big head skulls in Peru are classified Homo capensis, not Homo sapien. Totally different humanoid species. Okay?
Okay. I'm with you.
That's established. Okay? Now, if these species had managed to stay hidden, then several of these species could still be running around, quietly keeping it to their tribe. But they end up as a cult when it comes to this one specific bloodline, and it just happens to be in the AB negative blood type as far as I've seen. And I've been on the inside of this grooming and this occult raise its belief, groomed right up to my job at NASA headquarters, and it's very real. And like I said, you don't even know you're programmed until you get out of the program. You don't know you're in a cult until you're out of the cult.
I've been check this out. You're gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh at this because I want you to. You need some humor in your life. Let me add some humor. You ready? I've been told that I am a cult leader, and I've been told that everybody up in this chat are cultists. We are running an occult here of what I don't know, but This is welcome to the occult. Dude, you are full of knowledge, full of information, and I love it. I love that you're a lot like me when it comes to shit, not giving two shits, just sharing it. See, that's the problem with me and them. I would not probably like be able to just like be quiet. I probably wouldn't. There's no way in the world. I believe that these people really, really realize that if I was like put under the gun, you may as well fucking blow my brains out, man. Because I'm not gonna. Yeah. I'm not going to that side.
See you in the next dimension.
There you go, bro.
Yeah. But no, I mean, at this point, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm not afraid of death. I'm not afraid of someone tracking my phone and being like, you said too much. I wouldn't really give a shit. What it really is, for me, my motivation is that I owe everyone listening and everyone living a debt for the corruption that I was involved in, even if it was a minor fraction. I should have come forward with my conscience then, and I didn't. What really plagues my mind is the fact that, like, how many people don't come forward. All the people I worked with, people that were tracking everyone's information that's now been rolled into this massive monster that they're calling AI and quote-unquote the singularity. But the thing about a singularity, it can generate energy, but it can also be a black hole. So you got to be really careful with that shit. Sonoluminescence, it's really cool when you do it in a jar, but if you try to do it to the ocean, you could swallow the planet whole. It depends on the level you apply it. There's a lot of technologies out there we could really use to understand our world better if we could all just stop being assholes for a while and competing. But people don't see the wealth.
I want to bring you back another time, okay? And again, I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna try my best to keep you in the shadows. I promise you. Whenever I told you I was going to do that, I'm going to try my best. The problem is you and I've got mutual friends. Okay, we'll just say that's whatever. But I want to bring you back and have you, if it's okay, talk more about the grooming, talk more about the specifics of the blood types, that blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? Because again, here's somebody got a hell of a good start. Okay, the problem is he is being. I guess I can say he's being called out for being, oh my God, the words, man, I'm having a hard time formulating words tonight. I guess he's having a hard time staying under the radar for being just a shill, full of shit. He's a scammer. He's a liar. Well, he steals your shit. He steals everybody else's shit. And then threatens people. I'm going to sue you, man. Ha, ha, ha. Yo, bro, look, if you're listening, karma's a motherfucker. And I hope it runs you over with the same freight train that you helped me create. It's coming. I mean, I get, that's like these people, Mr. Adon. Check this out. I got this slide somewhere, right? I do believe it's this one right here. Is a little girl kneeling down. It's a lady kneeling down at a basket, right at the gallows of some city. I see in my timeline, okay, that the next slide that we're going to is this right here. And I'm pointing to a military guy, and I told you guys earlier, the black budget projects. There's shit that we know about. I know that our Anon insider knows this. There's black budget projects that maybe he don't even know about. There's black budget. They've got this shit so compartmentalized the left hand has no idea what the right hand is doing. The right hand is building a fucking nuclear, right? You see what I'm saying? And it's not right, man. I see
Yeah,
this.
no, Bob Lazar talked about that, yeah.
Oh, bro, it's like this is so the nefarious, sinister level of this is mind-boggling.
Well, the thing is, if there's rabbit holes all over the place, then that means somewhere in the middle there's just a giant fucking hole where all the rabbits are hiding. And that's ultimately, like, what people are scared of, like, finding themselves in that middle place where they can't get out and they can't find ground anymore. But there are a couple things I would like to say before we cut, if that's what's about to happen. One, anyone teaching Kabbalah or Kabbalism is teaching necromancy. All right? Within the Talmud and within the Kabbalah are the rape of 3-year-olds, blood sacrifice, creating golems using human flesh. It's necromancy.
Now,
So anyone selling you Kabbalah
where did you learn that?
or transhumanism. So the Talmud, if you look it up, has a lot of really interesting references. The mention of the rape of a 3-year-old being okay is well documented within the Talmud. And the Kabbalah itself is a step-by-step guide to create life from death.
Okay.
But you have to read it to actually really get it. One of the references, though, that I think about most in the Talmud is the worm will be the mother, and the mother will be the voice of God. So one of the more recent nasty things the government did to us was create a white sugar industry, which has resulted in massive candida overgrowth in America. And this is the death of millions. Now, candida overgrowth is when worms, antibiotic worms that grow in your stomach, overgrow and they hijack your mental synapses. Synapses that are usually designed for cannabinoids or other nutrients. And at that point, the worms are driving you. The reference for these people in the Bible is Canaanites. You can find that in Acts 4:22. Their worship of Moloch, the reason they were cast out, and Moloch the Golden Bull, also known as the Grand Archon or Eater of Children in Sumerian legend.
Dude,
Like I said, I have a photographic memory, and I'm really good at connecting dots.
I don't have I'm not going to drop my normal mic, but there I just dropped an empty Q can. Holy shit. Look, I these guys will tell you, I love sharing information, and what you're sharing is absolutely amazing, and I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that I got introduced to you. I think that we are going to. Will you come back? Because there's a lot of information here that you've got in your head that I think that's again, connecting dots is what we do. Okay, it's not you're just a whistleblower. You're here to like blah. No, you're here to connect dots for peoples that have been digging and digging and digging for a long time. you've given me some shit to chew on throughout the evening. I'm serious. From the dude.
I like homework.
You want me to give you homework?
I always like to learn new things too.
All right. I will shoot you some stuff to dig on with me. There's a really the girl that you talked to on the broadcast, Michelle Nobles. Oh my God, I love her with all my heart. But this girl makes me, oh my God, she makes my head hurt. She will send me shit to send me down a rabbit hole, and I'm already digging on one previous rabbit hole from a couple days ago that she sent me. And I'm like, whoa, wait. Don't even ask me how I'm doing on the previous rabbit hole. Just give me some other and I lose my shit. I'm like, wow. So I'm going to start forwarding you some stuff. And maybe we can figure out what's going on. I personally think that the bubble's going to burst. The pimple's going to pop. Okay? I believe these people are going to be outed.
So,
I do.
Oh yeah, no, they out themselves. That's one of the tenets of Kabbalism. You have to announce your crimes in advance and in the open to your victims to maintain alchemical power over them. Unfortunately, it works. So, what you asked me earlier, because I'm really good at burying the lead and getting lost on tangents.
Okay.
If you look up the webpage, the Transhumanist Party Values page, their entire agenda is laid out in bullet points right there. All you got to do is just spam that. If you want to know if somebody is a transhumanist politician, just look up if they're a registered transhumanist party member. You can do this for Elon Musk. You can do this for Andrew Yang. You can do this for Ivanka Trump. You can look at how many times Trump has had Davos. It's not hard to confirm these things.
Hang on.
But the reality you have to face, though,
say that again. The transhumanist what?
Transhumanist Party Values page. VALUES.
I'm looking. U.S. Transhumanist Party. They've got what's called a transhumanist-party.org. Is this the same thing? Hang on. No,
Yep.
no. It is this. Are you shitting me? Learn more about our candidates page.
2014, bro.
They've even get. This is called
Publicly funded.
transhumanist-party.org. This is I'm trying to find the website. And let me see if I can get. Oh my God. Okay, so all right, I'm gonna share this. Hang on. Holy shit, bro! Homework. Yeah, that's right. Homework. Michelle's like, woohoo, homework. Oh my God. Transhumanist Party. Why does something like this even fucking exist? Tell me that. Because we let it? This is from like
Existing right in the open.
This is adopted effective like October 17th. Haha, funny 17th, because I do gematria, right? I do a lot of gematria. Effective October 17th, 2022. 3 6 threes. That's funny. Check this out. Let me share this screen, because again, just for anybody that don't know gematria, let's real quick run some gematria on this train, because what he's just dropping. Let's play some numbers games, okay? So check this out. Here's a number game. This is the Constitution of the Transhumanist Party, but I'm gonna share this. Adopted effective October 17th, 2022. Right. So let's use this date, October 17th. So check this out. 1, 2, 3. The 2022. The 0 is a placeholder. Get rid of it. So if we take the number 7 minus 1, what number is that? 6s. So how many 6s do we replace the 2 with? 1, 2, and there's 3. So what do we got? 6, 6, 6. What the fuck, bro? This is crazy. Welcome to my world, the Gematria hole. You gotta smoke some really good weed to be doing this.
Fixation.
Oh my God. Yeah, right. We've got our own. Look, I don't think that you and I are done talking. I loved our conversation tonight. I truly did. And I know everybody else did. The information that you can share is
I hope
blowing.
this people some rabbit holes.
Oh, it did. It definitely did. We've got the transhumanist party. Imagine that, folks. Oh my God. Now, again, you said that we can actually see people like Elon Musk, Trump, on their membership lists and shit, or just supportive.
All you have to do is do a search criteria:
right?
transhumanist political party, Elon Musk.
Oh my God, dude.
Transhumanist political party, Andrew Yang.
Oh, you're making my brain hurt.
Transhumanist political party, Michael Bloomberg.
Wow.
Or just look at all the motherfuckers that attend Zavo.
Right?
Because the World Economic Forum is the transhumanist New World Order.
All right. I think we're gonna leave them with what. Oh God, with what you shared, I think we're gonna leave them with that to chew on. Let's do that. I've got to bring you back here, bro. This was fun. Did you hear that shit? He's like, this was fun. I'm with that. This was great. I so enjoyed this. I really did. Next topic, I don't know what it will be, but we're gonna bring you back for whatever it may be. No, look, nobody comes on the Matrix, bro, without saying something positive to everybody. So give them some hope. Do that. If at least give them some hope.
So ultimately, the consent stops with you. If you don't consent to it, if you stand up against it, at least you tried. But if you call these people out in public for funding things like transhumanism, which involves human trafficking, or dimming the sun, which is a crime against every living thing on planet Earth, they can't back down. But it's up to you. If you want hope, it's up to you to be the lighthouse to shine that light. You can't be shy anymore. They're not going to let you hide. They're not going to leave you alone. No matter what, they want you, if for nothing else, your blood and genetic material. So defend it. Defend it now, because they will take it later. Okay? You are what you make yourself. Manifest yourself as something that really deserves the wealth that this planet has to offer, and maybe we can all stop being assholes for a while. Because this bullshit, this war, nope, nobody's winning, and we've all been in it for longer than we've been alive. It's not fair, it's not right, but you can be the beacon. You can fucking shine that light. Just do it. Tell people the truth. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of them. Don't be afraid of anything. The worst they can do is kill you, and you know what? Multiple dimensions exist. Trust me. There's always hope.
Oh my God! All right, Mr. Anon, again, bro. Thank you for blowing my mind, because it's been a minute. It has definitely been a minute.
Well, this was fun.
All right, Holmes. I appreciate you. I'm gonna, yeah, man. I'm gonna cut it with you, and let you do what you do. Again, I hope you have a good night, my friend.
All right.
And thank you so very, very much for being with me tonight. You hear me? We'll talk again, buddy. I appreciate you. You be safe. We'll talk to you
later.
All right, bye. Holy smokes, bro. Oh my God. I'll just say, Wow. Brainiac, I hope you guys enjoyed this discussion. I truly do. our NASA HQ insiders, plenty of rabbit holes to go down. Oh my God. What he said in his end statement, we've all said this, that shine your light bright. Don't let them put it out. As far as like being interdimensional, we know this, we feel this. You're an interdimensional, multi-dimensional being. They know this. I know that you know this. You know, hell, what's funny is we've got atheist friends that's like, oh, you're just worm food when you die. Whatever, man. Whatever. To me, even atheism is a belief. You go right along, just sleep your way through this life. I got you. You do your thing. A lot of the brainiacs, they've got you too. Again, Mr. Insider, thank you for what you do. I know what you do. I've read the stuff that you drop. Teaching people, sharing with people. That's why we're here. That is indeed why we're here. I said this prior to the new pandemic. You are the virus in their system. They've hijacked your system. Okay? Be the virus. Back it. Be the virus. Be the light. Be the shining light. Bright, loud, proud. We are who we are. We indeed are who we are. You guys are the Matrix minds, just the brainiacs behind it all. We create this construct together, collectively. Let's do it together, proudly, and from the heart. I love you guys, every single one of you, all of you, ABCs tuning in. Please wake up. You're part of my consciousness. You're part of my reality. You're part of everything. And I hope even you tonight, I hope you gain some insight into our world a little bit more. You guys take care of yourselves, take care of one another. I hope you enjoy your weekend. We'll catch you back here on Monday, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 9 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock West Coast Time. You guys crank it up on the way out of here. Matthew Turner with the Matrix Minds. I thank you guys. Every subscriber that we get, every donation that we get, we are listener funded, 100% listener funded, and I'm so very, very proud to say that. You guys take care of yourselves. Peace out. Once again, crank this shit up on the way out of here, Brainiacs. Let's go. Let's have some fun. Be safe, everybody. We'll catch you. Yeah. Let's do this. One of the fastest growing talk shows on the internet. Welcome aboard the Matrix Minds. One of the most controversial conspiratorial shows on the web. The Matrix Minds. And that's right. Buckle up, everybody. Let's go. Paranormal, huh? Conspiracy, huh? Ufology, hidden Egyptology, and anything and everything we can get our hands on. Let's go. Welcome aboard. The Matrix Minds. The Matrix Minds. Your show.
Take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. All I'm offering is the truth. Stay in Wonderland. All I'm offering is the truth. Stay in Wonderland.